Well, that's just it. It doesn't matter what venue it's in. It matters about what's being done, what's being
Yep.
actually produced. And so that's a really interesting thing. And you created all this yourself.
Uh, no, there's probably, if there were 10 concepts that are in the training, I think I probably did 8 myself. The other 2 were taught. Then when I review it, I think I learned a lot of it from the SEAL teams and from all the people that you meet in the program. So I don't know if I really designed it, but I just matriculated it into something that I could actually teach. Because some of the stuff in the teams doesn't make sense to anybody. Some of the dynamics you have to be tired and cold and wet to learn. That not a lot of people like that, as you know, like I didn't either.
Oh, yeah.
And so I took a lot of that stuff out, and gosh, how can you put that into a program where Jennifer is going to get value from it? And she doesn't want to get yelled at or beat up or tired or sand and all that stuff that we thought was important. But I just put it into a program that's changed 18 times since we have tried it. Because the first time you think it's going to work and it doesn't, which is a beautiful thing. Nothing ever works the way that you think it will. And but now it's pretty lethal.
That's awesome. And it's bringing up another point too, is I remember, especially in assaults, there were certain times where I would hear something and then we would do something and it didn't quite make sense to me, the whole entirety of what they were teaching. Once you get into an instructor role, you start really understanding everything that's being put out. And I think that's where, people look at leaders today and are like, well, is it really a leadership program or is it just somebody up on stage talking? And I know for a fact that once you start teaching things, you become way better of a teacher. So that's absolutely awesome.
That's what, I talked to some of our other brothers that are doing programs that are somewhat close to this or trying to help businesses do well. And the one thing that we bring to the table that I learned as an instructor is you have to go and do hard things with people that you're teaching. You can't really lead from over there. That's managing. You got to go into the water and get dirty and then have a bad experience together and then teach from there. And so our whole program is about creating an experience together and then sharing the information and growing from the fucking thing not working. You know what I mean? We want to talk about what doesn't work and then build from there. We don't want to talk about all the victories that you've had because you don't learn anything from it. So one of the things, for instance, that is a big thing in not in the SEAL teams so much, but in business is ego and emotional reactions. Like team guys don't emotionally react. Like everybody thinks that we're void of emotion. Actually, it's actually the opposite because like, it's not time to be emotional because it's exhausting to be emotional, And so in business, ego kills business 100% of the time. If you react emotionally in a business setting, it's not very good. So we have a 6-hour block of training that everybody gets to experience emotion in front of people, like grown men. All right, let's talk about what makes you depressed and let's hear it. And I want to see it. What was it like to cheat on your wife? Let's hear it. And they're like, what are you talking about? Let's hear it. Because if we can't get through this, there's no way to learn. And it was a funny thing as a SEAL, as an old guy, listening to people break down and come to find out people need that. They need to get down to zero where there's no bullshit in their life. And then what am I willing to create now when there's not all that crap in the way?
And I hear that. So you're training all over the country with this.
Right now it's in Greenville and in Dallas.
Okay. Yep. And plans to expand across the nation?
It's based on, well, we have 3 other people that are learning how to be instructors, and then they're going to build a team around them. And it could be one guy that's probably going to, a SEAL that's probably going to be up in Seattle area, depending if he wants to take roots there. And another businessman that's in California, but he wants to leave California. So I just let the thing play out the way that it's supposed to play out. And, I'm not really interested in expanding or scale because everything's doing so well right now. Sometimes expansion breaks things. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And man, we're having a good time and our family's doing well. And my partner's family's doing well. And sometimes you don't need that other swallow of water to do better. You know what I mean?
I hear you. So you have courses tailored. Do you have multiple courses, or is it a standard course that people can go in and sign up for on your website?
There are a, a basic course that's not negotiable. It's a 2 weekend course. That's our kind of premier course. And then we just did 3 different I call consulting tailored courses, where you go in and you analyze and evaluate what they need, and you give them courses of action, and they pick one. Uh, for our premier course is probably still what we then impart there, because it's so lethal and it's so effective, and it gives them what they want, even though they don't think so. But it's either I do a lot of 1 day seminars for leadership teams that want to, in 1 day, make a big impact on their company. And I call that disruption and innovation. Everything breaks, going to break your company in 1 day. Nothing works. So now build it back from zero. And it's a horrible thing to watch. Everybody gets to tell the leader what doesn't work, and the leader gets to tell the people what doesn't work. And then you throw everything, all their products off the table, and you can't put it back on the table unless it makes the company money. Come to find out, a lot of shit don't make it back on the table.
Wow, that's
So
interesting. That's a great.
it's a bit, and it takes 3 of us to do that, because you get caught up with wanting to help them, and you as leaders can't help them through that experience. And it's a big advantage to having a disruptive enterprise happen in any business, because what goes back on the table of that business is really productive. But to get to that point, everybody has to kind of lift their skirt, and a lot of people don't want to do that.
Sure. Are you seeing an interesting shift since COVID started to now, with companies not being in the office and having to figure out how they're going to just move forward remote? And now they're hiring you to come in because of a whole change or a shift in their culture? Or is it pretty steady?
Actually, the culture became a better dynamic, because it wasn't a led culture, or a culture that I called shepherded, where the sheep go do stuff and they don't get to grow. Now, all of a sudden, the leader couldn't demonstrably be in front of their business anymore. And virtual leadership is kind of a farce. You can do it for a while, but you can't lead virtually. So what happened is, it became some of the teams, or some of the companies became SEAL teams. Like, we didn't need leaders. We just needed tasking. And so we didn't really need that oversight. And some of the companies that did well, after the oversight was gone, the collective people who were working remotely joined together without the guidance that was thought it was needed to be productive. And I don't have to go to an office. I don't have to waste my time. I'm with my family a little more, and I'm more human now. I can figure out how to engage people. Even though it was a remote and virtual engagement, teams became more cohesive, because sometimes leaders don't work for a team. Like, having oversight, and SEALs hated oversight. I hated you telling me what to do, and I hated my officer telling me what to do. Just task me and get the hell out of the way. And come to find out, humans love that. Most people love to just be tasked, fall apart. I'll figure it out. If I need help, I'll ask. And that happened during COVID to the successful companies. The other ones kind of froze. Hopefully this will play out. I call it the believers that the virus is going to kill you. Those companies froze, and I don't know if they can recover. Other ones go, well, shoot, it's illegal. We're going to go to jail, but let's figure out something. And come to find out, you don't need an office to do well.
That's right. That's right. Well, that's awesome. So obviously, all the information on how to get a hold of Thom Shea will be at the end of this video. And you need to go check out Unbreakable Leadership. Go check out his book, Unbreakable. Where can you find that?
It's up on Amazon. And so that book's 8 years old. I had just written another one right during the shutdown to help leaders deal with navigating this chaos. So it's called 3 Simple Things Leading During Chaos. And I think it's a very relevant conversation for leaders and teams to to discuss what happens in that, or the annals of that book, to make things simple when things are terrible. And but it's up on Amazon and in Barnes and Noble and all the places that you can buy books.
That is fantastic. Well, go check out unbreakableleadership.com. Go check out Thom. Get a hold of him. If you're a corporation that needs to get a hold of him, now's the time to do it. We are starting to get back full circle. You said, you heard it himself. He's in Texas. Texas is an open state. So let's get it going here. Thom, I appreciate you coming on the show, brother, and telling us what you're doing today.
Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate you.
You bet, brother.